Welcome back. The ANC's top brass, including President Cyril Ramaphosa, held a meeting with the leadership of the South African Communist Party at Luthuli House yesterday. The party says the engagement focused on the current political developments. Relations between the alliance's partners have been tense following the ANC's decision to work with the Democratic Alliance under the Government of National Unity. The SACP maintains that the ANC should have forged a minority government with parties whose political outlook is more similar to that of the ANC. The ANC's national spokesperson, Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri, is now joining us for this chat. Mahlengi, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. How would you characterize the meeting that took place yesterday?
Well, a very collegial meeting and also very frank at the same time. And both parties to the meeting had a very lengthy discussion that took almost the entire day, just looking at issues in the political environment, looking at what is happening in the economy space, looking at our work internationally, looking at our own organizations as well as our own historic relationship as the alliance partners, and also seeking to address matters that have been contentious, that have led to public spats, and looking at all of those and a better way of managing those. The ANC making its own input, the party making its own input, and a good discussion took place immediately after that.
Yeah, and what was the outcome of that particular meeting, specifically when we focus on the element around the public spats that have been taking place? Your Secretary General has spoken out against these. Was there an appreciation of that element from the SACP side, at least, as your Secretary General has said that some of these attacks on the ANC as well as the President of the ANC are uncalled for?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think the one key decision that came out of the meeting is for us to go back to the time-tested traditions between the SACP and the ANC, where it would not be the first time that there are the differences, whether it is on a matter of what we refer to as tactics in the course of prosecuting the struggle towards a national democratic society. It would not be the first time in the history of this alliance. This is the longest alliance we can possibly think of that has gone through many ups and downs. So this is just but one of them. And so we came to a very good conclusion to manage areas where there are differences and not to sweep them under the carpet. And secondly, to also acknowledge that both the party and the ANC are independent organizations joined together by the commitment to the foundational values of the freedom struggle. And so the one key discussion is that we walked away in the same camaraderie that has always characterized the relationship between the ANC and the SACP. To continue engaging in the discussion and the dialogue, and to this effect, to convene the economic summit early next year, and before then to have a follow-up bilateral, following up on yesterday's one in January, just ahead of the ANC, Lekgotla, and other meetings of the SACP. To also allow, number three, to allow the SACP as it goes to its special national congress to be able to reflect on all matters that impact our relationship and generally all matters where we need to find each other, and to allow the ANC, same as it goes to its national end of year national executive committee. So what am I saying? I'm essentially saying that we agreed to allow the organization to report back and to allow those discussions to happen between the two organizations. The commitment to a healthy alliance relationship was communicated by both sides, the President of the ANC and the Secretary General of the ANC, underscoring the significance of this relationship, and also the ANC explaining the relationship and the constitution, the architecture of the Government of National Unity, matters of disagreement with the DA, and those are matters of ongoing effort, communication, and struggle. And agreed with the SACP on fundamental issues that we are going to continue pursuing. I won't go into that much detail, but most of them are in the public domain, such as the Bella Bill, National Health Insurance, the ANC re-underscoring its commitment to pursuing those policies, because we went to the people of South Africa and asked for them to give us the vote on the basis of all of those transformative policies. So I can say that clearly there was a very good understanding. More importantly, a recommitment to pursue the elections manifesto. Remember, this manifesto, of course, was also crafted with the full participation of our alliance partners. Yeah. So it is something that joins us together. So we walked away really with a good meeting having taken place, very robust, very frank discussions, and at the end of the meeting, agreeing to protect this alliance in order for us to continue to advance what we refer to as the national democratic revolution that requires the active participation and a broad front, a broad left flank, and all of those that are committed to justice and democracy to work together in South Africa. Yep. At the center of that is the tripartite alliance.
Does good understanding mean that the SACP understands where the ANC comes from and how it came to formulate the government of national unity, and therefore it will be supporting the government of national unity? Was there commitment from the SACP that it will be supporting the government of national unity, considering that it also has members that are part of the executive?
Yes, no, certainly. But the SACP has allowed itself, and of course the meeting said that the party has got its special national congress, which should allow for members, the membership of the party, to reflect on developments since the election. And so that is the process that we are following. We were not really in a meeting in order to get each party to say we are changing our positions. But I think what was more important is to be able to understand what it is that the ANC sought to achieve by putting together the statement of intent, and also by inviting all parties that are represented in Parliament to join in constructing a government of national unity. I think that elaboration by the ANC was sufficient enough to allow the party to come to a determination about whether this was what, quote-unquote, a sellout position or not. And I think that we walked away having agreed to reflect, but also to maintain the spirit that has always characterized the relationship between the Communist Party and the ANC, COSATU and SAMCO.
So for now, as it stands, the government of national unity being led by the ANC still remains in place?
Yes, it still remains in place. The work continues. And all of those things that we, as the ANC and the SACP, signed up for, or signed up on, which is the elections manifesto, remains that guiding program of action that the ANC is expected to pursue within government.
Yeah, Mahlengi, just a final one. Last week, the announcement from the ANC around the expulsion of former President Jacob Zuma, the appeals committee, certifying the decision that was taken by the disciplinary committee, a possibility of a court battle. What's the ANC's take on something like that?
Well, we have made it clear, including to yourselves on Friday evening, that for as far as the ANC is concerned, the matter is done and dusted, because Mr. Jacob Zuma would have exploited and exhausted all the avenues, appeal avenues available in terms of the ANC's constitution. We are not interested in going back to that matter. We are moving forward. Our task is to address the pressing challenges that are facing the people of South Africa, of accelerating service delivery, of ensuring that ANC employees, wherever they are deployed, acquit themselves as excellently as they are required to in the service of our people. We are not going to be having a back and forth with Mr. Jacob Zuma. He's no longer a member of our organization.